Welcome back, everyone. It's Simon J from Compare Recruitment Factoring for another episode of Recruitment Funding 10. Today we've got Richard Foster from Giant Finance. I'll let him introduce himself, but hope you enjoy. He's got his headphones on, or he's got his microphone on. We've got Richard Foster from Giant. Rich, I'll let you introduce yourself. 30 seconds on you, bit on the business, and we'll dive into these couple of questions we created.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, good morning, Simon. My name's Richard Foster. I'm Operations Director at Giant Finance Plus. Been in the market now for around 16, 17 years. Started in recruitment in the hospitality sector.
Yeah.
Quickly discovered I didn't like working nights and weekends, so I looked for something else. And then worked my way through, as most people have you spoken to, payroll, credit control, client management, and now look after the operations side of the business.
Operation and sales as well.
And sales as well. So recent change to role is client management and sales management as well. So yes, coming under.
You've done the full flow with Giant then, literally the full.
That's it. I've completed it. I think. Yeah, done the boxes.
I have the in-betweeners in my head there. You literally completed it, mate. So
no swearing. Yeah.
And so Giant 16 years. You beat me to that. I normally ask people and they get a bit cringe and count it in your head, but you've obviously love it.
Yeah, no, man and boy. Yes, it's forever evolving. So it's not, there's no boring day. There's no set routine. So it's kept me busy. And the recent acquisition by Giant of Outsource of Used to Be has really given me and the business a new lease of life.
Yeah, because Giant obviously part of a big group, but you're sort of specialist in the finance side of things, and that must have changed from you being obviously it's the pay and bill, payroll, pay the candidates, pay the margin, timesheets, back office package. And I've been in market sort of 10 years-ish, you 16. That market, and we'll probably dive into these questions actually, but that market must have changed so much over 16 years and the way that things are done. Let's do it, because well, it wasn't my first question, but it was my second question, but we'll go back, we'll do it first, because technology's changed so much in market over the last 10 years for me, 16 years for you. And I wanted to focus specifically on timesheet technology and how, I guess, with the current climate, more people working from home, but also the way that remote working is moving, and also technology's come in. How is the change of online timesheets? How is that transition happen? Are more people using it? Is it still manual? And what type of technology is liked and, I guess, disliked within the timesheet market of pay and bill?
I'm just going to wave my hand on our lights, Simon, because they've just gone off. It should come back on. Bear with me.
That's okay. It's part of the fun.
There we go. Yes, so you're right. I mean, 16 years is a hell of a long time ago now. But I remember when we first started out, we used to get an envelope on a Monday morning, which would have a load of paper timesheets signed.
Well, then the agencies would post to you.
Post them over the weekend as they've collected them on the Friday or Saturday. And then we would be manually entering them into our Excel sheet, as it was then. There wasn't really a system. Invoices generated off the back of those through Sage or whatever product system you use then.
So what would happen if the timesheets were late or the postman lost them or something like that? That sounds like, from an operational side, that sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah, well, it was. And I mean, I think trying to get those timesheets, I remember when being a consultant, you used to have to go and chase them from sites, people's houses. So our carbon footprint's probably reduced.
Yeah, which is good. Yeah.
So, I mean, nowadays, I'd love to say every single one of our clients uses online, but we probably 50% of our clients now use the online software in terms of authorizing online. All of them obviously use it for entering the data.
Yeah.
However, there still is that paper aspect there, but the switch has been really, I think, in the technology in terms of the ease of candidates just doing it through a mobile or iPad, whatever, and the end clients, as opposed to having a piece of paper with 20 names on that they have to sign, they can go into the system and just literally click a button and it's job done, raises the invoice immediately, and the candidates are paid off the back of that.
So the invoices going out, the timesheets being authorised, and I know there's quite a few different timesheet portals out there with pay and bill, but some of them are literally authorising with the click of the button, or they're logging into portals super simply, and it's just getting authorised and it's done. So, and you're not waiting on the postman and not printing off loads of paper.
You're not waiting on the postman. I mean, so it's quite relevant really what's happened since March 23rd with lockdown. So we've seen a nice conversion between those that were using paper timesheets, or not paper necessarily, but spreadsheets that they're using to manually enter. So like most businesses, our clients, our agencies have had to adapt to the new environment. And a lot of those directors no longer have those administrators in the smaller businesses we have.
Yeah.
So they've been taking on those responsibilities themselves.
Yeah. Okay.
So I guess when you're doing it yourself, you're not being, you really are experiencing the issues that your administrators or consultants have each week.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And finally, they're listening to us and saying, do you know what, actually, I think I will change to online. What do I need to do?
Are there certain sectors, and again, this is something really interesting actually, but are there certain sectors that are still sort of they're sort of towards the back end of going into that market? Because I know when I was working a couple of years ago with the funders, the construction market was not too heavy on it, the hospitality and the healthcare, because workers working at different hospitals every day and things like that. It became a bit messy. But
exactly right. No, it is those sectors still that we're finding don't sign up as quickly. Normally, where you've got those kind of bulk timesheets, so you've got a lot of candidates going into one debtor. I mean, the advantages of using it are so much, you'd think it would counteract it, but actually, we're finding that those are the people that don't take up the online. So we're working hard with our clients to see how we can promote that.
That's going to change with technology though, isn't it? There is going to be technology out there soon that makes it so easy for a nurse that's working at a different hospital every hour of the day. And you won't tell me this, and this is overall market, but I think in time, my view is that payroll will not be a weekly thing, and payroll will be a daily thing. And
absolutely, yeah. I mean,
we just happen automatically when someone wants to get paid. I don't know. That's where I see it.
You're right. I mean, we've got a capacity to run daily payroll, as I presume most of our competitors have. We do a couple of payrolls a week for some of our clients where the need requires it. I think the other thing at the moment, Simon, with COVID, etc., is there's that level of danger around pen and paper still, so it could be a source of infection. So again,
I didn't even think about that.
If people don't necessarily want to be signing bits of paper or handing things around, so you've got an app, it directly assists in that process.
Didn't even think about it from that side. That's a really good point. Yeah, that's a really good point.
I know we're going to talk about credit control, but from a credit control perspective,
let's flip on to credit. Let's try and wind it. I always do it very separately, but let's try and mix it all in together and jump into, I guess, question 2, which was and you can go whatever spin you want on this, but my thing was, what's been the biggest challenge of credit control for your clients, I guess, in these current times, normally, and also, I guess, probably with less focus on age, because age is going to be probably the main thing that payments are getting put off, and people aren't in, or accounts payable are less accessible, etc.
Yeah, absolutely right. I think the biggest thing for us in the early days was checks. So you still get a lot of clients, particularly education sector, pay by check.
Still now.
Wow. What we discovered week 2 into lockdown is we don't have a post box on our building. So every day the post gets delivered into reception, gets sorted, and then goes to the 2 businesses in our office. There was nowhere for the post to put it. So I came into the office back in end of March and have been in every day since on my own. Basically getting the post, because the first week
you didn't get your drill out and put a post box on.
We could have put a little hole in. No, we didn't. No. So it was made good friends with the postman instead. The checks was an issue.
What about cashing checks and banks being shut all over?
And also that, so people writing checks, going to a post box, etc. People didn't want to do it. So we have converted a lot of debtors that didn't want to pay by backs originally to backs, which has been great. And the process has been improved by our clients as well as us around those that do pay by check.
Wow.
So that's been useful.
That's good.
It's such an antiquated process now as well that we really have been able to push away from it because of COVID again. So that's been useful.
You still, back before COVID, you do a daily bank. I remember when I was with a funder, someone would go to the bank every day at 1 o'clock with an envelope and cash all the checks.
Exactly that. Yeah, still doing that. Wow. Still doing that once a week now. God. That's right, yeah.
Wow. And credit control from a point of view of talking to people, debtors, what's been the issues there?
Yeah, so the hardest thing, I spoke to our credit control manager, Emma Reed, this morning, has been around people not being available. So even though the businesses aren't closed, if your payroll or your accounts payable, are working from home, you don't necessarily have access to the same people or the authorization. So it's been finding the right people. Everyone wants to deal by email, but we've been quite persistent in building relationships and using phone. So that you can't be fobbed off.
I was about to say the same thing.
I mean, again, using online timesheets is where it's been so beneficial here, because you know who signed it. and you know they've received the invoice.
Yeah.
So the good old excuses of don't know who signed it, never received it, mate, you know, they've gone out the window, which has helped.
Yeah.
And our DSOs remained around 42 across all clients.
Wow,
So we've been
brilliant.
very pleased with our approach during this period. And the other thing I think is, obviously you get the excuse of COVID, can't pay.
Yeah.
So it's trying to remain sympathetic with the debtors and understanding their situation, but being clear, you know, you've got to pay, the debt's still valid, and just being firm. And it has been hard with some people. But at the end of the day, you know, we've got to get that money in for us and our clients, and we've been persistent where we need to be on that.
Yeah, that's really. What would be, I guess, to close the question, what would be the, and for an agency that's not using a pay and bill or not using a funder, and they're doing all the credit control themselves, and maybe they're watching this and thinking, what would be the one piece of advice that you would give a recruitment business that's running their own credit control, that's having issues at the moment?
Yeah, a good question. The main thing for me is the setup of the debtor and the verification process up front.
Okay.
So when you make your first placement or you're raising your first invoice, make sure that you know who you need to speak to check that invoice is valid and when it's going to be paid, that the invoice is in the right format, that anything like a PO, etc. is needed is on there, and you're giving them no excuse for 30 days time. If you do that up front, you've already addressed half of the questions you'll get in 30 days time anyway.
Yeah, okay, get it right from the day one, and then it's done. Yeah,
that's it.
Quality. Oh, nice.
Exactly right.
But I will. You've got one for me.
I do.
I'll leave that one with you. We'll answer that, and
Perfect. The other thing, just on technology, Simon, is where clients haven't been able to see their contractors or their candidates, the contract management piece that a lot of systems have and ours has allows them to sign them up online. So they're contracted, they've got the assignment details without having to face-to-face, which has obviously helped to get
helped in this period massively. Absolutely. Yeah, totally.
That's fine. So one for you, if you're ready.
Go
so
on.
my thought was just, when you get approached by a business, because obviously your name's out there and you're well considered on LinkedIn, so a lot of people looking to set up come to you.
Quite there, but
how do you decide which finances you're going to put it out to? Because I know you work with so many.
Well, we work with a big. When I set up, it was about working with the majority of the market to make sure that there's an option out there for everyone. And I think when I set up, I thought that it would be there'd be certain ones that are really good, certain ones that are less so, and we've got such a spread of the amount of people. It's not like everything goes with one person. Literally, there's just such a spread, which has really surprised me, because everyone does everything, and it was on another video. Very, very slightly different, but those slightly different things make a real good fit for one person. So there's a few constraints. It all depends if it's if it's a new start or it's moving. So if it's a new start, it's very much a lot of the time about the relationship and the type of personality of that new start. So I've now learned, I'm nearly a year in now, and I've now learned that certain lenders have certain personalities and certain ways of working. So I know that recruiter A would fit really well with lender B, because their personalities would work well together, and X and Y. And personality game for a new start is absolutely important, and support really important for a new start. From an interfactor, literally, it's totally different with every single person. So someone's moving, it's why they're moving. If it's for cost, there's the back on cost. Who's going to, and if it's for service, we're then moving into a different realm. And it's not just the service is good or the service is bad. What is bad? Okay, the credit control's bad. Okay, well, we have good credit control. And there's so many different things that can work really well with a funder and not work well at all, or we don't like this here.
The personality and relationship thing is absolutely key. You're right. I mean, if there are issues, which there will be in the early stages, particularly in Interfactor, it's how you approach those, isn't it, with your new provider.
Absolutely.
So getting somebody that can understand you is, where for me, you make your money for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And from my point of view, talking to you and Graham the other week and Tom the other week, you guys that have worked in operations, and a lot of you have, when you're talking to the recruitment businesses, and that was another video saying I like to work with salespeople that don't understand the recruitment market heavily. You know what you're looking for. So if it's RPO this, then it's pay when paid this, or something's different. Those conversations are happening on the first phone call, as opposed to a flip over coming to a funder that doesn't know anything about this, and this, and it all gets pushed through because the salesperson wants to deal. That's not how it works. Get everything out day one, and you'll find the right fit.
So 12 months in, I didn't realize it was. Well
Yeah,
done.
about 11 months.
11 months.
Companies, yeah, it's just about 11 months.
Are you pleased? You made the right decision?
Yeah, a very interesting time. That's the second, I didn't plan for this question. It's a very interesting time with obviously COVID coming in. I'm glad I was probably 7 or 8 months in as opposed to being a couple of months in, but I think I've created so many friendships with people who've been in a similar boat. Recruitment business is just setting up, and we're all in that similar boat of we've got costs going out, office rent and things like that, and we're only 6 months old, and we're all having those conversations. And there's been some people really, really supportive, and I feel like we're making a difference, and the deals that we're doing and introductions are making, they're happy and they're staying, which is a credit to actually doing what we should be doing, hopefully.
I'm putting them with the right people, clearly, so that's great.
Everything that it's about. So it's good. And we'll try and, I guess, we'll try and do this once a year or something like that and catch up where we're at. I'm interested to know for our next video whether Giant's got a post box. I guess that's my next note, so I'll make that for the next video. Has Giant got a post box? And
stay tuned.
Stay tuned, and we'll do a live unveiling. I'll come and cut the ribbon.
I look forward to that. Yeah? No, thanks, Simon. Enjoyed today.
Thanks for jumping on, Rich. And we'll catch up.
Pleasure as ever.
Cheers.
Catch you soon. Thanks, Simon.